The energy in Denver is electric right now. Mile High is buzzing, and you can feel it in every corner of Broncos country. The Broncos are sitting at 2-0, and the excitement for the 2025 season is already reaching a fever pitch. But with the highs come the lows. Unfortunately, the team received tough news this week. Offensive guard Nick Gargiulo has been placed on injured reserve, ending his season before it could truly begin. Details on the injury are still limited, but we know it was a serious leg issue that required him to be carted off in a brace. Many suspect it could be an ACL, but the final word is still to come. To fill the roster spot, Denver has brought back a familiar face. Fullback Adam Prentice, a former Colorado State standout who spent the last 4 years with the New Orleans Saints, is returning to the Broncos. It's a homecoming at Mile High, and he'll now have another chance to carve out a role in this offense. Now let's shift to what fans love most, the winners and losers from the Broncos' battle against the Arizona Cardinals. There were plenty of standout performances, a few letdowns, and even some honorable mentions who nearly cracked the winners list. And of course, we have to start with the quarterback conversation. Denver's QB2 has been playing with a fire that feels closer to a QB1. Now let's be clear, he's not overtaking Bo Nix for the starting role. That's not happening. But what he is doing is elevating his trade value and proving he can step in and deliver when called upon. Right now, it's hard to imagine the Broncos even considering trading him. His performances have been too good, too sharp, too consistent to ignore. Through just 2 preseason games, the numbers speak for themselves: a 79% completion rate, 376 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and a staggering 143.0 quarterback rating. And here's the kicker, he's only played the equivalent of 1 full game across 4 quarters. If Bo Nix had put up those exact numbers in a regular season opener, we'd all be talking about him as the clear-cut player of the week. That's how good these performances have been. So here's the truth, if the NFL handed out a preseason MVP, it would belong to him, no debate, no hesitation. He has easily outperformed every other backup quarterback in the league, and right now it's not even close. His command of the offense, his accuracy, his poise. It's everything you want to see from a player fighting to prove his worth. And while the focus has been on the offense, there was one defender who stood tall against the Cardinals, Jonah Elliss. Before kickoff, he was a name to watch, especially after flashing against the 49ers a couple of weeks ago. And once again, Elliss delivered with the kind of spark plays that grab your attention. He showed fight energy and a relentless motor that gave the Broncos a big lift on defense. When Jonah Elliss stepped onto the field against the Cardinals, you could tell immediately he was one of the best players out there. His skill set is remarkable, the strength to set the edge in the passing game, the discipline to read the run, and the patience to strike at just the right moment. So far this preseason, Elliss has stacked up 3 tackles, 3 quarterback pressures, and 2 hits on the QB, and that doesn't even capture the full impact he's had. On the sideline, you could see his teammates feeding off his energy, celebrating every play he made. He looks like a guy who's carving out a serious role in this defense, maybe not as a starter yet, but as a dangerous rotational piece in Vance Joseph's blitz-heavy scheme. The way he disrupts opposing quarterbacks is relentless. He's not just terrorizing pass protection, he's blowing up running plays too. The highlight? A backfield stuff on Amari DeMarcado where Elliss read the play, attacked with power, and dropped him for a 4-yard loss. That was a statement. Elliss is showing he's not just another depth piece, he's becoming a weapon. Now, flipping back to the offense, it was nothing short of an explosion. Over 500 total yards against the Cardinals, and leading the charge was none other than Troy Franklin. What a transformation! From 2024 to 2025, no Bronco has made a bigger leap. He's faster, sharper, and more confident, a completely different player than a year ago. Last season, he started to flash. This season, he's exploding onto the scene. Even though Troy Franklin has only seen 9 targets so far, he's making every single one count. 7 receptions, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns against the Cardinals. He's proving that this isn't the same player we saw a year ago. His ability to find space, read zone coverage, and manipulate defenders has taken a massive leap forward. Let's call it what it is. Franklin is on track to become Denver's second wide receiver behind Courtland Sutton. Right now, Marvin Mims Jr. still holds that role, but the signs are clear. Franklin's chemistry with Bo Nix, built from their Oregon days, is translating beautifully onto the NFL field. You can see the trust, the timing, the confidence, and it's only growing stronger with every snap. This is the fastest turnaround of any Bronco on the roster from 2024 to 2025. A year ago, Franklin was just starting to flash potential. Today, he looks like a breakout star in the making. If this trajectory continues, number 11 won't just be a rising talent, he'll be a cornerstone of the Broncos' offense. Now let's move deeper into the list of winners. And eventually, the few players who didn't rise to the occasion. The next wide receiver who deserves recognition is Pat Bryant. He may not have reached the end zone like Troy Franklin, but his impact was undeniable. His chemistry with Jarrett Stidham stood out immediately against the Cardinals, and you could see the trust between the two developing with every snap. What makes Bryant exciting is his style of play. He's not a burner who stretches the field with deep routes, but rather a precision route runner who thrives across the middle. He wins with hand fighting at the line of scrimmage, body control, and the ability to haul in contested catches. Watching him work, you can't help but see shades of Michael Thomas, the same physical, methodical approach that breaks down defenders one play at a time. Bryant is quickly forcing his way into the conversation on the depth chart. With Troy Franklin already staking a strong claim as WR3, Bryant is showing that he too has the tools to make a real impact in this offense. His presence is another reason why Denver's wide receiver group looks deeper and more dangerous than it did a year ago. Let's circle back to Pat Bryant for a moment, because what he showed against the Cardinals deserves more than just a passing mention. This wasn't busted coverage or a lucky break, it was smart, advanced football. Bryant recognized the defensive look, read the single high safety, and carved up a soft spot in the zone with precision. That's the kind of awareness you expect from a seasoned veteran, not a rookie who hasn't even played his first NFL regular season snap. Every time he takes the field, he's proving he belongs. And because of that, Denver suddenly has what feels like a power four at wide receiver: Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims Jr., Troy Franklin, and Pat Bryant. Add Devon Veal to the mix as a name to monitor, and you start to see just how much depth this unit is quietly building. But now, let's shift to our final offensive winner, R.J. Harvey. The young running back may not have had a huge workload, but his progress from Week 1 to Week 2 was impossible to miss. Offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi challenged him after the opener, pointing out that he bounced too many runs outside instead of trusting his power and running north-south. A lot of young players would ignore that advice, stick to what worked in college, and rely only on their speed. But Harvey responded like a pro. He showed patience, discipline, and the ability to lower his pads, get downhill, and use his strength to finish runs. That kind of adjustment in just 1 week says everything about his maturity and potential. That's what separates a rookie from a pro, the ability to take coaching and immediately apply it. R.J. Harvey showed that against the Cardinals. After being criticized for bouncing outside too often, he came back with a different mindset. On one play in particular, he took a handoff, absorbed contact just past the line of scrimmage, and instead of going down, he lowered his shoulder, powered through the linebacker, and fought for extra yards. That's strength, that's maturity, and that's the kind of football that earns respect fast. People like to talk about Ashton Genty and the raw power he brings, now wearing silver and black in Las Vegas, but don't overlook Harvey. His strength is severely underrated, and he's proving it every snap. Those are my 5 standout winners so far. But before we move on, a few honorable mentions deserve recognition on defense. LaVale Bailey, the undrafted rookie out of Fresno State, led the team in tackles. His coverage ability in the middle of the field is impressive, and his eye discipline stands out. He still needs to improve against the run, which keeps him just outside the winners list, but his upside is undeniable. Jordan Turner, 3 quarterback hits and 1.5 sacks. He was everywhere, constantly disrupting plays and showing flashes of the kind of productivity that can change games. Both players may not have cracked the top list, but their performances against the Cardinals made sure their names are firmly on the radar. Now let's briefly talk about the losers from this game. Thankfully, there weren't many, but a few names stood out. First up is Caleb Lohner. The raw talent is there, but right now the game looks too fast for him. 3 pre-snap penalties, 2 false starts, and 1 illegal motion point to a player who's still struggling with timing, snap counts, and understanding the system. It's not surprising when you consider his background as a college basketball player who only played 1 year of football. He's still learning. The tools are intriguing, but at this point, he's behind. Compared to Caden Prieskern, who also had a costly fumble but looks more polished overall, Lohner has more ground to make up if he wants to stick on this roster. Another player who fell short was Audric Estim, and let me be clear, this isn't about lack of talent. He's a powerful runner with a strong pedigree, but in this preseason battle, the competition is simply outperforming him. Jaleel McLaughlin continues to shine with explosive plays, including a big red zone run that likely locked him in as RB3. Meanwhile, Blake Watson has flashed versatility as both a runner and pass catcher. Against that kind of production, Estim finds himself on the outside looking in. As of now, it's hard to see a path for him to make the 53-man roster. And finally, a quick note on Devon Veal. He's not on the official losers list, but his name deserves mention. His flashes have been limited, and unless he finds consistency soon, his spot could be in jeopardy as well. Another name that unfortunately makes the losers list is Damari Mathis. There was one play in particular that stood out, and not in a good way. On a play-action fake from Jacoby Brissett, the defense bit hard on the run. Mathis cheated up toward the box, and when Brissett fired down the seam to a streaking tight end, Mathis was completely out of position. He couldn't recover in time, and the result was a busted coverage that left the defense exposed. Mistakes happen, but this one was glaring, and it's the kind of lapse that simply can't continue. And finally, we need to revisit Devon Veal. He's not officially on the losers list, but his situation is concerning. While Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims Jr., Troy Franklin, and Pat Bryant continue to shine with highlight plays almost daily, Veal hasn't generated that same buzz. He isn't playing poorly, but he isn't excelling either, and when the competition is this fierce, standing still can feel like falling behind. He's likely to make the roster, but right now, Veal's development curve isn't matching the rapid rise of the others. For Denver's wide receiver group, the bar is high, and if he wants to climb it, he'll need to find another gear soon. When it comes to the wide receiver battle, Trent Sherfield could absolutely push for that 5th spot. And circling back to Audric Estim, he remains the one player I just don't see cracking the 53-man roster right now. Until he shows he can not only run with power, but also protect the quarterback in pass protection, the edge belongs to the other backs. And that wraps up this breakdown of Broncos winners and losers. The preseason is about growth, about proving who belongs, and Denver has plenty of names rising while others are fighting to catch up. Every practice, every snap matters. Broncos country, buckle up. The fight for roster spots is only beginning, and the journey to reclaim glory is far from over. Stay locked in because this season could be something special. Mile high, let's ride.